For today, in the schedule for today, it said we were going to do the Swimming Pool Safety Act and mechanics liens. I'm not sure exactly. I must have been very thinking I could do a lot in a little bit of time when I put both those down, because mechanics liens is a whole class by itself, and we will have an entire class on mechanics liens. So we're going to do the Swimming Pool Safety Act, and then if we have time, I guess I did it because I didn't know if it would take up the whole time. Then we're going to do liquidated damages, but the mechanics liens is complicated, so we're going to do those. We'll do those next month. Okay, so we're going to do today the Swimming Pool Safety Act. And this is all stuff everyone should know. There's plenty of houses out here, plenty of leases that have houses with pools or houses with pools. So everyone needs to be aware of what is required and what's required of you and what's required in the transaction. And for those of you who aren't aware, the reason this is so important is because we had a case where we sold a house with a pool and there was no fence around the pool. They asked for a fence in their request for repairs. We said no, but we'll put a little gate over on the side, which we did. And you'll see in here, it's the home inspector's duty to talk about the Pool Safety Act in their report. And the home inspector did it. It was all over the report that the house didn't match the Swimming Pool Safety Act. And it doesn't have to when you sell it, as long as you disclose it, which was done. And then these people left their screen door and their sliding door to the pool open and went to sleep, and the baby crawled into the pool and died. So we have a tragedy and we get sued because we sold the house. Again, we really didn't do anything wrong. They asked for a fence and we said no. Does that mean they didn't know we didn't have a fence? And anyway, so it was very ugly. It's been going on for like 4 years. There's a whole bunch of defendants. We represented again the seller, and we just settled it. So we're out, and we got out very, very. We didn't do anything, and they acknowledged that we were paying very, very little compared to what everyone else is going to have to pay. So I want you guys to be aware of this, because if this comes up again, you should know. You know, someone has a pool. You should know what the risks are and what the problems are and what has to be done. Okay. So the new Pool Act came into effect January 1st, 2018, whatever the new Swimming Pool Safety Act. Okay. Before then, there were other Swimming Pool Safety Acts. It wasn't the first one. It just kind of modified what we already had. It made it stricter. Okay. So the new act requires a pool or spa to have a minimum of 2 of 7 safety features. They give you a list of 7 safety features and you have to have 2, okay? Whether or not you have to comply with the Swimming Pool Safety Act appears to be dependent upon when you built your pool, okay? Because if you built your pool before the act came into effect, then your pool probably didn't need 2 of the 7, and we're going to see that there's all kinds of, depending on what year the pool was built, there's different requirements. But right now you have to have 2 of 7. Okay, it's an amendment. Yeah, I read this and then I forget. I tell you. Okay, does the Swimming Pool Safety Act apply only to private single-family homes? Yes. Okay, it applies. Private single, when a building permit is issued, they would have to now, all single family homes, they would have to follow the new, you know, they're going to be looking for the new restrictions or the new requirements. However, the home inspection requirements, and we're going to get to that, will apply to all residential 1 to 4 properties in connection with the transfer of property. So anytime you transfer a property that has 1 to 4 residential units, the home inspector is required to inspect the pool if there's a pool. Okay, for pools or spas built on or after, okay, so here's this thing. On or after January 1998 and before January, so anytime in 1998 through the end of 2006, your pool was built. And at that time, they only needed one of 5 safety features to be present. So when these people built their pool, they only needed one, and I'm sure they all had it because they all had to get them inspected. Okay, so these 5 are an enclosure separating the pool or spa from the single family home. Okay, so we have all kinds of rules, different rules for what you need to keep people coming from the outside to your pool. These are rules specifically about keeping people coming from the house to the pool. Okay, not from the outside gates, but from the house. Okay, so you could have a separate enclosure. You could have a gate, right? An approved safety pool cover that if someone landed on, they probably wouldn't drown. Exit alarms on doors providing direct access to the pool. So you could have, if you have a sliding glass door that goes out to the backyard, you could have an exit alarm on there. A self-closing, self-latching device with a release mechanism on doors providing direct access to the pool. I would guess that's what most people put in, a self-closing, self-latching device with, high up where, kids couldn't reach it. Other means of protection, if the degree of protection afforded is equal to or greater than the ones above, then they're okay. So they're not basically saying you have to do one of these. They're saying you have to do one of these that we like, but if you have something equally safe, you could do that too. And of course, we know there are more things because we now have 7. Okay. For pools or spas built or remodeled on or after January 1st, 2007, but before 2018. So for 1 year, these people, how many safety features did they need? Okay, so they were built or remodeled on or after January 1st of 2007, but before, if a pool was built, was remodeled on or after January, but before January of 2018, the 2007 amendment to the Swimming Pool Act applies. And that's, again, applies and requires 1 out of 7 safety features. Okay, so now we have 7 safety features. We added a removable mesh fencing in conjunction with a gate that is self-closing or self-latching. So like a mesh fencing instead of a other kind. A swimming pool alarm placed in the pool, which will sound if anybody enters the pool. I mean, you could turn it off when you're using it, but you could leave it on every other time. So if now there are 7 things, and so you have to, but you only had to have 1 of the 7 through 2018. If your pool was built or remodeled through 2018, you need 1 of the 7. Okay, for pools or spas built or remodeled on or after January 1st of 2018, that's the current law. The 2018 Swimming Pool Safety Act requires a minimum of 2 of the 7 aforementioned safety features. So we looked at 7 safety features. We really only looked at 6 because one of them was anything you guys come up with that is just as good as what we came up with. So again, you're not stuck with those. If you can think of some way to keep everybody safe other than using one of those, 2 of those 7, then you can do that. Okay. How is the date that the pool or spa was built or remodeled determined? The date of construction or remodeling is based on when the building permit was issued. Okay. What are the specific requirements for an enclosure under the Act? An enclosure, fence, wall, or other barrier that isolates a swimming pool from access to the home must have the following characteristics. Okay, we don't really need to go over all of these, but you need to know they're here. I mean, it has to be 60 inches. So if you put in a little low fence someone can climb over, it's not going to work. No gaps, no protrusions. So that's the fence. It has to go all the way around. It has to be, it can't have holes. It can't have gaps. And it has to be 5 feet tall. Okay, I put this one in red. I put a couple of things in red on this one because they were super important. Does the Act create a point of sale requirement for installation of these safety features? That for sure you need to know. And the answer is no, it doesn't. So it's not like the smoke detectors and the water heater strapping, where there's a law that says that when you sell your property, you have to bring it up to code on those. This one does not. It's not a point of sale requirement. The only thing that's a point of sale requirement is disclosure about whether you have it or not. Okay, and then they go into, I'm probably going to skip this, the common law requirement. So even if it wasn't subject to any state law, but you can't say that because everything in California is subject to a state law. So we're going to kind of skip that. Okay, so there are some exemptions. It doesn't apply to public swimming pools, which probably doesn't affect you guys at all. Do these safety features apply to all spas? So you're selling a house with a spa. So that the requirements do not apply to hot tubs or spas with locking safety covers. Most hot tubs and spas have a cover. I don't know if they all lock. I know I've had both of mine have locked. But if they have a thing where you can lock them, then you don't need the other 2 of the other 7. Okay, you're exempt. Do the requirements of this act apply to swimming pools in an apartment complex or other residential setting other than a single family home? No. So if you're leasing, you don't have to deal with this, although later on they talk about a form they have for if you're leasing, and that's probably a single family residence with a pool. Okay, can local ordinances create less stringent rules for swimming pool acts? So can our city say, no, we don't like the state law, we're only going to require 1 of the 7? No. You can usually cities, counties, they can make a stricter rule. They could say, gee, in our city, you have to require 4 of the 7, but they can't make a rule that's less than what the state requires. So then it asks if they can they make a more stringent rule? And the answer is yes, because they're allowed to do that. If you want to say, gee, we don't think 2 out of 7 is good enough here, we want 5 out of 7 or 3 out of 7, we can do that. But we can't do less. Okay, duties of agents, home inspectors, and others. Does the Swimming Pool Safety Act impose a duty on an agent to investigate the safety of a swimming pool? No. The act imposes no inspection or investigation requirement on brokers or agents. That's funny, we got sued when we didn't even have an obligation. What requirements, Senate Bill 442 is the Senate bill that applies to home inspectors and disclosing about the pools. Okay, a home inspection must include a non-invasive physical examination of the pool or spa and dwelling for the purpose to identify which, if any, of the 7 drowning prevention safety features the pool or spa is equipped with. That is this is by law the job of the home inspector. Okay, to determine which, if any, of the 7 features they have. The home inspector's report must specifically state if the pool has fewer than 2 of the listed drowning prevention safety. Okay, these requirements are imposed whenever a home inspection is performed in connection with the transfer of property. Okay, so the home inspector has to do. In our case where we all got sued, the home inspector did. It's on the front top right corner of the home inspection report. It's like really big. And they did disclose it. Okay. Does Senate Bill 442 require a home inspection in connection with the transfer? I think that should be of real property. Transfer or real property, transfer up. There's no requirement to conduct a home inspection. So you don't have to have a home inspection. If you don't have if the buyer chooses not to have a home inspection, the buyer is not going to get this information regarding the safety features. If a home inspection is performed, you have to do it. But if it's not, you just don't. There's no other provision for letting the buyer know. Okay, what qualifies as a transfer? I think you guys know what qualifies as a transfer. It's 1 to 4 units, though. Is a person required to check which safety features? Is any person required to check which safety features are present when a pool or spa is installed or remodeled? Yes, because of course you're going to have, you have to follow the building code, somebody has to know, because you have to know, because you have to show the home inspector which ones you picked, or the building inspector. Does an agent owe a duty to a potential buyer to disclose open and obvious dangers such as an empty swimming pool? Okay, so they say no, right? And there's a case that says that if a danger is open and obvious, you don't have to disclose it. But that's not what we do, because we have to protect ourselves, and we can't decide that this was open, that we saw it was open and obvious, but we also want to disclose even open and obvious things. We disclose everything that we see. So if the pool were empty, yeah, I might want to, this says you don't have to, but I might want to do a disclosure that the swimming pool is empty. Clearly everyone can see that, right? But there's so many, everyone can see there's no gate around the pool. right? Everyone can see that. Everyone can see that if you leave the screen door open to the house and the sliding glass door, someone can go in the pool. Everyone can see that. But it doesn't stop people from suing you, but it does help you get out like we did before everybody else. First one's out. Okay, transfer disclosure statement. Are pool safety features disclosed on the TDS? Okay, a child restraint barrier may be. On the first page of the TDS, the seller is asked whether the property has various items, including a pool, and within this category, a child restraint barrier. So even if you had one of 7, you would have a child restraint barrier. But, okay. But that's the only one they call out on the TDS. So that's the only one you have to deal with. If this box is checked, is the seller certifying that the child resistant barrier is in compliance with the requirements of the act? So if you check the box, you say it has it, are you saying it's in compliance? No. This TDS specifically states child resistant barrier may not be in compliance with the safety standards relating to the Pool Act. So it's okay to put it down even if you don't know one way or the other, or you know for sure that it's not. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. No?
I do. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the seller just advised me that the alarms for the house that usually would go off when you open doors, when you have a pool, that they're not working. So that we have to disclose. The alarms are currently not working.
Right. Doors are alarmed, but alarms are not working.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
you. Okay.
I had a question.
Yes.
How does this help with negligence? Like you have a pool cover, but it's not, covering the pool and stuff like that.
If you have a kind of pool cover that if they jump in on top of it, they sink.
No, they don't sink. But I'm saying, say someone left it open and didn't close it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, right. You have to have.
Are we liable?
You have to have 2 of these features. You could have a lock on a door and not lock the door, right?
Yeah.
So, we're not talking about liable if you're at home and
Okay.
we're talking about our liability.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So is there a form available that provides a release of liability with renting out a property with a pool? And I didn't know until I did this, but yes, there is. So if you're renting a single family residence with a pool, you might want to use the pool, hot tub, and spa addendum. Not required, but you get a release of liability from the tenant saying, yeah, I know that's there and I'm responsible for myself. Not a bad idea.
Cindy, even if it's like a condo community, we issue that form?
That's a good question. I don't think they get to condos. I pretty much been through the whole thing and I don't think they talk about that. I don't know. But I think a condo is considered a 1 to 4 unit single family residence, definitely.
Okay.
So I think it must be included. Okay. Okay. Warning, a release of liability will not waive liability if the pool does not have the required safety features under state or local law. In general, an owner cannot contract away liability for a violation of consumer law. Okay, so if you rent the pool and you do something, and you do something wrong that violates the law, you're still going to be liable even though they signed a waiver. Okay, skipping all this. Oh, that's the end of that one. So, okay, is there any other questions on the Pool Act? I am going to check on that condo thing because it doesn't say anything about it. But are there any other questions on this?
I do have questions, Cindy.
Yes.
Well, I have I live in Caminabo, has a pool, and they bought it in a foreclosure. So I don't know, how do I know when that was built? I had to pull permits.
You have to find the permit for the swimming pool.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing, I mean, honestly, you could have the seller do a home inspection, and then you'll have all the information. The home inspector still has to do it. Doesn't matter who's doing the home inspection, and then you just give it to them when you go into escrow. Some people, we have some agents that do all of those things, that have the seller do all of those things and give them to them. But Yeah, if you weren't sure, you really had no information, you could ask a home inspector.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, I don't see so that they want to do a previous third
Yeah.
home inspection, but anyways, do you recommend that, because I don't know if they want to put permits for the pool, do you recommend that we following these rules? We go and use the most recent rules in
Yes,
order to protect the
because
swimming
now,
pool?
because after 2018, any pool that's ever going to be remodeled or whatever is going to need to come up here. It doesn't have to be at the time you sell it. But yes, every pool should have 2 of the 7 safety features.
Okay, that was my question. My second question is, let's say that we represent the buyer. Okay, we have where the represented the buyer, somebody is buying a house with a pool, and we represent the buyer, and the buyer decided not to do a home inspection. And later, we are coming with this
Right, they don't know
lawsuit
anything about
issue.
this, right.
How can we cover ourselves in that
Well,
way?
I do a document only because I'm a lawyer and so I can do like legal documents. I have a document I call a disclosure and release for parties. Gee, where we're going to disclose that there's a swimming pool, that the home inspector was the person responsible for inspecting it, and you chose not to have a home inspection. So you don't have any information on this. And you know, if we have anything, we could disclose that too. We know we have 1 point, or you know, whatever we have, and then they have to release us. We're disclosing this to you. You're releasing us from any liability to do with the pool.
Okay, and that would be good enough?
Yeah, I mean, I can, I had the documents done, I just have to change it for your fax, so it doesn't take me very long. So if you need something like that, you want a pool release, I need your, the address of the property, and then I can go into SkySlope, I can get the names, you don't have to send me all that stuff, I can get it with SkySlope.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, just to, protect ourselves.
Right, and that could be not just for swimming pools, it's for any kind of really weird disclosure that the buyer's saying, yeah, I don't care about that. Okay, well then we're gonna put it in writing and say, you don't care about it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Cindy.
Anybody, oh, Patty, do you have a question?
Hi, yeah, I was curious about the case that you had. I like my
Oh,
logo.
ours?
Yeah, you were saying you had to pay some money, even though
Well,
you guys
this is how lawsuits work.
Okay.
Because everyone on our, our agent, we had one of our agents got sued, how can they do this? Why can they do this? Why would they do this? We didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And the answer is because when you you get through it and you try to get out, but they won't let you out, you go, when you get to mediation, right before, especially if it's close to trial, in mediation, everybody pays. You're just going to settle it, and every single insurance company is going to put up money, and there are maybe 10 parties in this, 10 or 12.
Whoa.
And not the same amount of money, everybody, because we just settled another case. I don't know, it's kind of funny. We had when we were Masters Realty Services, Masters Realty and Full Realty did a deal together, and we both got sued. And we just settled that. We all went to mediation, and we didn't do anything wrong. It was just another one of those ridiculous cases. And in the end, that's it. We want to get rid of it. The insurance company's paying, not us. And so we agree, and the insurance company wants to pay because they want to limit their liability. And so we agree. And so these people who had nothing end up walking away with, 150, 200,000. That's why they do it. And it's disgusting, right?
Yeah.
But I'm in this wrongful death case, every single defendant has gotten like $2 million demands for settlement.
Oh,
And it's ridiculous. I mean, it's only the parents' fault, right?
right.
So why are these
Hold on, Cindy, slow down. I'm taking notes.
Oh,
Wow.
so the parents, if the
Tired
mother
of your
hadn't left the door to the pool open and gone to sleep, maybe what I mean,
Wow.
really? That's the story that we heard right from the beginning, that she told the paramedics or the police, is that she went to sleep and left the screen door and the sliding glass door open because it was hot.
Wow.
Wow,
How could that be our
unbelievable.
fault?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's, but again, so basically what happened, just if you want to know a little bit, there's something in lawsuits called a demur. And a demur says to the court, even if everything they said is true, we have no liability. This is not us. So we filed 5 of those.
Wow.
And every time the court said, we agree with you, but they gave them leave to amend the complaint to say it better. Every time. And so,
California.
yeah, exactly. And so so after, like, I don't know if there were 5 or 7, there were a lot of demurs. Finally, we had to answer. And then they amended their complaint again because of somebody else. And so then we said, well, and our guy said, you know what, this judge is becoming more and more likely to sustain one of these, to throw something out. And so these guys might win their demur. And I said, well, why don't we demur again? And they're like, okay, you know, we could, but we could get in trouble for it, but let's do it. So we did it, and they threw out all the negligent causes of action against us. So if we did something negligent, we aren't liable. They have to prove the company did something intentional here.
Wow.
They can't even prove negligence. They can't prove intention. So then they came back to us and said, okay, we'll let you out for like a little bit. And that's what happened. And so, and you know, we're thrilled. We don't have to pay that little bit, right? We paid our deductible right at the beginning, and we don't pay any more. And so we're happy because we're done and we don't have to worry about it anymore. But yeah, is it disgusting that these people got our money?
It
Our
is.
insurance money? Absolutely.
Wow.
But as opposed to staying in and having to go to what they offered was cost of going to trial. You know, what would this cost us anyway for attorney's fees? And that's what they offered. If we can pay that, the cost of attorney's fees now and get out, then we're way better off. So people do
That's
it.
like
But
blackmail.
it's all blackmail. I guarantee you that these parents are going to get millions of dollars before they're done. Not from us. We're done. But it's just the way it is, because people are going to get to settlement, and the people who are sued, they have insurance. They don't care if the insurance company pays the money. They want out. And that's what happens in lawsuits when you get these terrible, ridiculous, you get someone who's willing to push something ridiculous to settle.
But Cindy, look at all the time that you had to.
We had my deposition taken. Yeah, we had, and so did our agent. And I mean, yeah, we put a lot of time into this.
Yeah.
But it's you know, but we're done.
I think the best thing is just really to advise all the sellers to do at least 2 out of the 7 requirements and just be done with it. Rather
Right,
than
or
the
not,
7.
or 2, or maybe we just, you
Or
know,
maybe 7.
yeah,
What?
yeah, at least
yeah, or just,
At least-
yeah, throw one of these things in the pool that makes an alarm when someone jumps in.
yeah,
How hard is that? Right?
yeah, seriously.
Fences are
Wow.
expensive, but not all these things are expensive. Putting up, you know, high locks and stuff like that's not expensive. So anyway, that's the deal with swimming pools. If you ever want a buyer if buyer's not doing a home inspection, we should definitely get a release.
I had a question.
Buyer is doing a home inspection. Again, I don't know. If I wish I knew what more we could have done. If we had done our own disclosure that said the exact same thing the home inspector said, would that have helped? I don't know. You know, it's just one of those things where
No, it wouldn't have helped.
Yeah, you still would have found somebody. I mean, they would have found a reason to sue.
Right, exactly.
They still left the door open.
And so that's what happens so you know, we try to protect ourselves by disclosure.
Yeah.
And anytime we have something really serious that we're telling them and they're saying, well, we don't care, then let's do a disclosure and release. Because
Cindy, I like to be a little bit more proactive and cover myself everywhere as much as I can. So I'm thinking about getting this, what you bring it here, this law or whatever you're showing here, the act, and present it to the sellers in a listing presentation, or what we are doing the paperwork, so at least they know.
Okay, you want me to
it's
put
not
something together?
that we are trying to be pushy and like,
Okay.
oh, you realtors want da. So
let me put something together that with the 7 things so that you can present that. Do you have any of these? Which ones do you have?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Article, this
Okay.
one, and I send it to them.
Yeah.
So at least they know that it's not something that we we really made it ourselves, is
Yeah.
real and we are trying to protect them.
That's a great idea because I recently I printed this whole thing and sent it to a potential seller. And I said, these are the laws and the regulations, read on them and read them and follow through. And they have a pool. So
Okay, we'll do something simpler than, yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you had a
Work on
list
that.
like that, if you had a list like that going out, then you could also include it as part of your avid. You would say that it does not have 2 of the 7 items. Here's the list, and let the sellers know that it's up to them to take care of those things. But you mention it in your avid and then provide them with a list, and it kind of, nothing's gonna ever cover you completely, as Cindy well knows, but. But
I mean, I feel like we were covered on this one 100. I mean, they asked for a fence and we said no. What, they didn't know we said no? They signed it.
Yep, exactly. So
I don't,
Yeah,
right. So
well,
there's only so much you can do, but we might as well do what we can do. Right.
that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
but there's always people looking to take advantage of other ones,
Yes. Yes. Believe me, I mean, I hate this, but the child had all kinds of injuries that they found at the, when they did the autopsy. They found the child had all kinds of recovering injuries. Gee, these parents, it sounds like maybe did it on purpose and are trying to benefit, right?
Oh my
Awful.
God.
That's what it feels like to me. You just don't leave the doors open and leave a 2-year-old sitting there by themselves.
how can you go to bed and live in oh my God.
So
No, that is
honestly, yeah, right. But and maybe I can stop sharing my screen. Maybe this is a good one because it's so egregious that you can see it could happen even when it's egregious.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good for
Yeah.
us to know this. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, hopefully we only have, I think, 2 little lawsuits left that are not very exciting, and then we're all done. I think
They're
one
not
of
very
my,
exciting.
keep us posted.
We only want the exciting stuff.
yeah, no, some of these are not very exciting. Okay, well, thank you guys. I'm glad we're gonna do, so we will definitely do mechanics liens next month.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. That's,
Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
thank
Okay.
you, Cindy.
Have a
Thank
great
you,
day,
Cindy.
everybody.
You too.
I
you.
am so glad that she works for us.
Me too.
I
I
know.
love
Could you,
Cindy.
oh my
All
God,
of us are.
I could not imagine me teaching that class. That would not go very well, man. Or if we get in trouble,
Robert, you are so smart. You could read anything.
if we got to court, the only advantage that I would have if we went to court is I probably know the judge.
Well, there you go. He's an old friend.
That's a pretty good
From
advantage.
past cases.
That is a good advantage.
I don't think there's
I
any better
probably have
advantage.
had some experience in there, which might give us a helping hand.